The CoinDesk Spotlight is brought to you by Nexo, the place to earn on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and more.
All right, crypto derivatives trading platform BitMEX announcing Tuesday it reached a settlement to pay a $100 million penalty to U.S. regulators. Among the civil charges include offering U.S. investors leveraged and unlicensed crypto products, inadequate KYC and AML safeguards, and processing more than $200 million worth of transactions for darknet markets or mixing services. And joining us now is Alexander Hoeptner, CEO of 100X Group, the holding company of crypto exchange BitMEX. Welcome, Alexander. So with this settlement, there was an admission, or was there an admission of any wrongdoing or a subsequent, yes, we will fix up what you've laid out as your concerns, including improving AML KYC, which is anti-money laundering, your customer provisions, limit leveraged products, or avoid servicing darknet markets?
Yes, hello. And firstly, we're very delighted to have reached that settlement with CFTC and FinCEN. And the settlement is on a no admit, no deny basis. And yes, we implemented as one of the first derivatives exchanges a full KYC AML procedures already last year. So we have 100% fully verified user group now, which was seen not always positive from the community, but it clearly shows that this is the right way going forward, as you see that most of the regulators are now embarking on that journey. So for us, that was a journey that we started already last year, and we're keeping on doing this.
A question about BitMEX in general. You know, we have been talking this week endlessly about the United States and the U.S. market and the infrastructure bill, but you guys operate globally, and I'm just curious if you could give us a little bit of the outlook, say, in Asia, for example. What's happening in the Asian market? Because we've been very U.S. focused on the show recently.
Yeah, I mean, Asia is for crypto trading one of the most important markets. Now, Asia is just not Asia. You have very strong markets like Korea, like Japan, Singapore with a new licensing regime just waking up after the announcements that they want to develop in sort of a crypto hub. Hong Kong, China, you don't know the developments that are going on there, whether more regulation comes to these markets or not. It's a very trading heavy market. A lot of countries, for example, Korea, very interested in leveraged products, also from the classical financial world. And we have to see how regulators are now embarking on that journey of bringing the next maturity level to crypto trading, especially when it comes to derivatives markets, because most of the regulators are already tackling the spot markets and derivatives are the next big thing. So it's a little bit the same like in the US, where regulation just really is now embarking on the journey. You see the same pretty much in Asia.
Alexander, I want to get to that in a minute, but getting back to BitMEX, are there any employees there working now who may have facilitated letting U.S. users use the platform prior to the settlement? Have you gone through any internal investigations? Is there anybody there who who was involved in not putting in the safeguards, who's still employed there? Have there been any firings?
As you will understand, I cannot go into the details of the settlement or the process around the settlement. But as I said, we're very delighted to have come to that conclusion. And what I can say is that onwards going, we have a fully KYC'd and AML'd process house for the full group and all the services that we're offering. And so we make sure that going forward, we comply with all the rules and regulations that are put out there by IOSCO jurisdictions.
So you were brought up to clean up BitMEX, if you will. Your competitor, Binance, is facing regulatory issues somewhat similar to what BitMEX faced. Do you have any advice for them? What do you think they need to do to change?
I think I cannot comment on that one too, as you can imagine. But generally, I mean, it's for the crypto industry it's not easy to maneuver with a developing regulation that we see in various jurisdictions. It's something that the industry has to do together with the regulators to develop the regulation different, maybe a little bit more advanced as we've seen it from the classical financial industry. because of the benefits that the whole blockchain technology brings to us. And I think we have to work together with the regulators on that one. And this is my general advice to the industry, if I'm allowed to say so, that we should embark on that journey together with the regulators and not let them work on that one. I think there needs to be still a lot of education around the possibilities and capabilities and maybe even some of the limitations.
Do you talk to Arthur Hayes at all, or Ben or Sam? Are you talking to any of those guys since all this happened, since you joined on? Have you spoken to them?
Yeah, allow me that I don't go too much into the details of the clear communication that I have with the board, but there's a general governance that is already and also tailored to the general requirements of regulation, how you operate a governance structure with shareholders as well as with the board of directors. And actually, in that sense, I do so.
Okay. And we, just to let our viewers know, there are some criminal charges filed by the U.S. Department of Justice against former BitMEX CEO Arthur Hayes and other executives. So I wonder, is Arthur Hayes involved at all in BitMEX still as a chair on a board or any such role on the company?
As you probably can understand, I will not go into the details of any aspects of the shareholding structure of BitMEX. As I said, we are very delighted to have come to a settlement with CFTC and FinCEN. We are applying a clear governance structure that is required by all the jurisdictions for the classical financial world, as well as for the expanding and developing crypto world. And in that sense, we comply with all the rule sets that are out there. The company, as I said, is now ready to join and go on to the journey for beyond derivatives, so expanding into spot, custody, information products, brokerage, and education. And that's for us as a company the most important thing.
Does this affect your ability to expand? Does your ability to expand or change, is it affected in any way if you have people on your board who are currently under investigation or have charges against them by U.S. authorities?
Again, I won't go into the details there, but the company is not restricted by anything currently. What was very important for us was the settlement with CFTC and FinCEN, because there's a lot of interest in BitMEX, especially from the institutional side. And that's naturally a very important step for us to show that we're compliant with all the rule sets that are out there, especially with KYC, AML, and verified user groups. Because when you read what most of the regulators are currently looking at, is exactly that point. So for the expansion for us into spot and brokerage and custody and attracting more institutional players to the crypto world, it was very important to reach that settlement, and that's done.